Hi, I'm Sam and welcome to this Blackmagic 12K masterclass in which I'm going to guide you through all the processes of making a short film, or in our case, a short documentary piece about a woodcarver here in London. So in this series, we're going to go through each part of making a film and go through the processes of it. We're going to be focusing on the production aspect, so everything from the days before production to shooting, and then covering afterwards as well. We're going to be starting off with rigging the camera, then going through the camera's settings, making sure everything's right for production. Then we're going to talk to you about how to interview properly and how to deliver a great piece to narrate your film. And then finally, we're going to go over how to get beautiful B-roll footage for all of those glorious B-roll shots to make everything look amazing in your final film. To which we'll then sit down, we'll grade it, we'll edit the film and produce our final piece to show you at the end of this series. So grab your popcorn, take a seat, and I'll take you on this journey of making a short film with me. Now in this first episode, we're going to go through everything that we'll be using for our shoot. As you can see, there's a lot on the table in front of me, so we'll go bit by bit, but there's also a couple of bits that are off to the side that I'll have to go off and grab as well. So let's dig in. Now, first things first, we obviously need to start with the camera. So what are we shooting on? We are shooting on the Blackmagic Pyxis 12K. Now, I personally own the Blackmagic Pyxis 6K, which is sat right here. This is mine. But I thought for what we were getting, it would be good to have the 12K instead. Now the Blackmagic Pyxis 12K uses the full frame RGBW sensor from the Ursa LF, which means that you've got a beautiful sensor in such a small form factor. You've got the 4-inch screen on the side with all of your control buttons. You've got an L mount, which means that you're on mirrorless and also part of the L mount alliance. So if you're using anything from say Leica or Panasonic, you can use those lenses natively on the camera, but you can adapt to a variety of different lens systems. For instance, PL or EF. Now in terms of I/O, you've got SDI, you've got your timecode in, you've got Ethernet, and also the camera takes Sony BPU batteries for powering. It also takes CF Express Type B cards. I've got several here, and you've got your headphone and mic jack on the back. So why the Pyxis 12K? Well, it's got 16 stops of dynamic range. It can shoot 112 frames a second in 8K, cropless, may I add, and it can shoot 12K open gate, so you can use that full sensor to capture your image too. But we're going to go into all the big details in the next episode. For now, we're just talking about kit. So let's move on to what's next. So the next natural step is to talk about lenses. We are going to be using the Xine CF primes, which are all PL mount. So we'll be adapting the Pyxis to PL to put our lenses on. They are completely manually operated. Now, normally you may have a focus puller, but for us, I'll just be pulling focus manually whilst we are shooting. So here with me, I've got the 85mm and the 24mm. Now, why choose cine lenses over, say, your normal native lenses that you get from maybe your normal camera brands? Well, going for cine lenses means that you get a bit more variation, maybe in looks optically. It may also have different characteristics between different lenses. But what I always love is the fact that everything is rated properly. So on all cine lenses, they are rated in T-stop opposed to f-stop, which basically means that the stops of the lenses have been tested scientifically to give you that exact amount of light to your sensor. One of the big advantages of T-stops is that if I were to swing my lens from being on the 85 to go to the 24, I shouldn't have to change any filters that I've put in my matte box. Say if I put 2 stops of ND in, the 2 stops will stay the same from my 24 to my 85 or vice versa. And you should never have to change them because you're still getting T1.5 of light to your sensor itself. Now, another thing with cine lenses is the gears. So if you are using a follow focus unit or you're using just a manual wheel to the side of your camera or rig, you can still get a nice grip on them and your teeth will connect perfectly to the teeth on the lens themselves. The build quality is also lovely on the Xine CFs. They're made out of full metal, so they do really last. So behind me, you can see that my Pyxis 6K is rigged, and that is the most optimal way that I find rigging my camera. And of course, we need to rig the 12K too. So I've got the Condor Blue cage system for the Pyxis 12K. This comes with everything from your top handle, so you've got a lovely little rubber grip. You've then got the cage in 2 parts, which means that it wraps around the camera perfectly and keeps it all steady, and the camera is encaged inside it. So if it did fall, the cage is taking the brunt of the force and not the camera itself. But I don't recommend dropping your cameras anyway, but just in case, you've got protection at least. Now, the Condor Blue cage does also have a few great little accessories. You've got ARRI rosette points for mounting handles or other accessories. You've got NATO rails on all 4 sides, covering the whole camera itself. It's got 15mm rod points for the back, which means that you can put your V-lock plate on. We've then also got these Condor Blue handles, which will go on the cage too. So that means you can then negotiate the camera in different ways. This is a D-tap extension, which does also read out your voltage, so you can see what voltage you're getting from your camera. Normally, most batteries will read out to 15.6, and you want to change your batteries at around 11.9, 11.8. You are normally okay to about 11.6, but I'd always recommend to change around the 12 mark just to be safe. Then finally, when it comes to the cage system, we have your V-lock plate. Now, if you're not familiar with V-lock batteries, these are some of the industry standard battery sets that we use. We also use gold mount, which go on slightly differently. They go on to the side, whereas V-mount go down. It just means that it keeps the battery in place. For us, we're going to be using this Condor Blue V-mount plate. It's got your D-tap ports on the side. It's got USB-C. You've also got 12 volt and 8 volt out. And on the side, you've got another D-tap port as well. So we've spoken about V-lock plates, and now this is your V-lock battery. They come in different watt hours. So this is a 99 watt hour. We also have another one here from Headbox, which is 195 watt hours. So V-locks are a little gem. You can power anything from lights to a laptop to charging your phone. You can think of them as your power bank, but for pretty much anything. Okay, so now that we've talked about rigs and cages, let's talk about monitoring. The Pyxis does have a monitor on it, but it's stuck on the side, which is great for accessing options or changing things whilst on a tripod. But if you're trying to look at the monitor or your image from any other angle, it's not really possible. So what options do we have? Well, thanks to the 12G SDI on the back and also your USB-C port on the front, you have several. First off, from Blackmagic themselves, you could always go for their Blackmagic Pyxis monitor, which connects via USB-C, has 1500 nits of brightness, and is a 5-inch HDR touchscreen display. From false color to histograms to waveforms, it includes everything that you'd need to make sure that your exposure is top-notch. So we've spoken about monitors and viewing your image. Now, how about controlling your image? So after lenses, you also need to think about light. You can't put your t-stop down to 22 and expect that you'll get a great image. You may get lovely composition, and sometimes it's great to stop up to bring in less light so you get a sharper image, for instance. But sometimes we do want a blurry background, and if we're in harsh sunlight, we need to keep our shutter angle down at 180 degrees or 1/50 or 1/48, depending on what frame rate you're using. So in order to do that and keep everything controlled, we use a matte box. This right here is the Condor Blue matte box, which obviously comes as part of the kit with the cage itself. It takes 4x565 filters via these trays at the top. These are interchangeable, so you can change them depending on what size lens you have. Matte boxes also allow for different filtration. So for instance here, we've got the Condor Blue Opaline diffusion filter, which will give us a softer, bloomier image. And you can get several different filters. This one's got kind of a more of a crystally effect. But you can get different filters from Black Pro Mist to White Pro Mist, and obviously this Opaline diffusion one as well. Matte boxes also give you other options in controlling your image. You can make sure that the sun isn't going down the lens, so you're getting bloom, and you can flag off the size to give a bit more control as to where your light's coming from. So if you're getting any unwanted flares, you can cut them out using the flags around the matte box. Now, in terms of media, when shooting in 12K, we will have some rather large file sizes. So it's important to back up to something with ample amounts of storage. We've got the LaCie D2 drive with 8 terabytes of storage to both back up to and edit from. So that will work in our favor perfectly. In addition to the storage options, you can also shoot to a SSD via USB-C out on the Pyxis as well. Finally, once everything is rigged up, we need somewhere to put it. Now, if I'm running handheld, I may opt for a shoulder rig. And right here in front of me, I've got the shoulder rig from Tilter. The Tilter shoulder rig has a great design, from your Arri rosette points for your handles and the arms to the shoulder plate itself, and the fact that it has this funky little thing where if you simply just loosen it and take it off, this is your base plate, which will go on the camera itself, but this can also sit on your tripod. Now, talking about tripods, I've got this one from Small Rig behind me. Now, our Small Rig tripod is great because it's made of carbon fiber, which means it's really light to move around with. It also features a drop-in quick release plate, so going from sticks to handheld is really smooth and really quick, and also going back onto the sticks again is nice and simple. And it features a heavy-duty fluid head, so it makes for lovely, smooth movement in your footage. It also has a one-step quick release method for moving the tripod or sticks from up and down. So it means that all of that is nice and smooth and nice and quick, and you don't have to be adjusting at weird angles to make sure that your tripod is level. Finally, we also have one more thing, which is our syrup slider, which also features a Manfrotto fluid head on top. The syrup slider is great because it's nice and smooth. It means I can get some elegant little close-up shots and any details on the slider for wherever I need it. You can realistically rig this however massive you want, with massive cinema lenses, or break it down to something really nice and compact. It really depends on the kind of shooting environment you're using and whether or not you're putting it on a gimbal or running it handheld, or maybe putting on a jib, a dolly. Whatever you want to use, the Pyxis 12K will suit it perfectly. So we've gone through all of the different ways you can rig the camera, what you can use, the different lenses that we'll be using, and everything in between. Now, in the next episode, we're going to not only rig the camera and build it to make sure that the rig works, and to also walk you through how to build a rig, but we're also going to do a deep dive into the Pyxis 12K, go through all the menus together, and make sure it's ready for our upcoming shoot. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one.